Meat! 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 Meaty chunks! Well, that's the Rust update this week. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to come and follow me on Twitch, Sorry. I'm still a bit thrown by the fact that there wasn't an update last week, okay? I'll be okay in a minute. Anyway, when you murder them, animals now emit gibs, which is related to the word giblets, which, as we all know, is what animals are made of on the inside. Yum! This is only a temporary effect, apparently, and presumably will be replaced eventually by something even more horrific. Can't wait. But what's more important is what they're up to now on the other side of the circle of life in Rust. You see, the reason for the lack of an update last week was mainly due to the quantum leap that is known as upgrading Rust to Unity 5.6, which unfortunately didn't slot into place quite as neatly as hoped, and so needed another whole week of lubrication and wiggling to get it to sit right. But now we're here, and if you didn't know what the big deal was about Unity 5.6, it's that thanks to new support for nav meshes on procedural maps, AI can finally actually stand for artificial intelligence instead of animal incompetence. I should warn you that the system is rather rough and hairy around the edges at the moment, and although animal behaviour is more complex, it can be a bit peculiar at times, and some of the animations are downright creepy. But what we have to put up with in the short term is nothing compared to what we gain from bears and wolves now not running through rocks or stealth ganking us through the foundations of our bases. Over the next few weeks you should see a lot of improvements on the current baseline, and the really good news is that once a certain level is reached with the AI, then according to Gary, the system can be expanded to give more functionality to the helicopter for one thing, and maybe even some new types of enemy. So stay tuned. One last thing with regard to the new nav mesh system is that currently, because it generates dynamically, it uses a lot of CPU when a server first starts up. This is really only an issue for server owners at the moment, as it can choke things up temporarily and cause problems with other processes running on the same box, but we shall just have to wait to see whether this becomes a major issue or not. There was a change to the way large furnaces are placed in this update, and although I can see that already there are exploits with hiding things inside them, I'm sure this will be fixed soon, so make the most of it while you can. Instead of sitting at a jaunty angle and going along with whatever the terrain is doing, they will now stand perfectly upright and should be easier to place, with foundations that continue further down into the soil. Thanks to a last-minute addition this week, you can now go full Walnut Warrior with the new wooden armor helmet. At a cost of 200 wood and 15 cloth, this tops off the ensemble now and gives almost the same protection as a burlap head wrap, but with slightly more rock, knife and shuriken protection. As of this update, Rust now uses WebSocket Archon as default, but what the hell does that mean when it's at home, you say? Well, basically, with WebSocket Archon, server owners and admins can use a remote server console from a web browser. Gary explained more about this in Devblog number 99, so I'll provide a link in the description if you want more details. If you're a server owner and want to continue using the old system though, you can just add +archon.web0 to the server command line. Although it wasn't quite ready to include in this month's forced wipe, the new launch site monument is almost complete, as these images show. Work is ongoing on the factory interior at the moment, which will feature bits of unfinished rocket dangling from the ceiling and plenty of cranes and walkways to negotiate in order to access the upper levels. Hopefully next week I'll have a lot more screenshots to share with you. There were a few optimizations in this update, which is always welcome news, and you can read more details on the dev blog if you want, but input lag and weapon update rate were both targeted, which means that gameplay in general and firearms specifically should feel more responsive. There's a new update handler which can be used to update distant objects at a lower rate than nearby ones and therefore improve performance, and ladder movement verification is now server-side as well, which should help plug another loophole for cheaters. View model improvements continue, with fixes to clipping and general feel being upgraded on the M249, SAR, SMG, Revolver and a few others this week. A number of sounds have received a spit and polish, including new spinner wheel effects, better distant gunshots and smoother water lapping ambience, but most importantly, the new footwear specific footsteps are now in, and this is the point where I shut up and let you listen to a few of them. They're alright, aren't they? A number of new skins were added to the store this week, as you can see here, with prices ranging from $1 to $2 a pop. I'll put a link to the store page in the description too for you. And lastly, the model for the upcoming Tier 2 workbench is virtually finished, with only a few small details yet to finalise. As to exactly what new functionalities this will bring to the game, we shall no doubt find out soon, but stay tuned and I shall keep you in the know when I know. Let me know down below what you thought of the show, and if you want to have a moan, then try to do so in a pleasant tone. Leave a like and subscribe to me for weekly updates and other stuff. You'll find me on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook and Steam as well, of course, and links are in the description for those. I shall catch you in my next vid, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.